I'm not going to start with a hype-filled "this is the best TV ever" because the truth is, when you're spending close to $8,000 on a home entertainment package, the stakes feel a lot higher. You're probably wondering whether the picture will actually look as good as the marketing videos promise, if the sound system will fill a medium-sized living room without sounding tinny, and whether you'll end up paying for features you'll never use. Those are the real questions that keep most buyers up at night, and in this review I'm going to walk through the practical side of the Sony 75-inch mini LED 4K TV bundled with the BRAVIA 5.1-channel theater sound system. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's talk about the type of setup this bundle is designed for. Sony's mini LED panel pushes the brightness and contrast numbers higher than a standard LED, which means you'll see deeper blacks even in a bright room, and the colors stay vibrant when you crank the light up for daytime viewing. The TV is paired with a sound bar, a wireless subwoofer, and 2 rear satellite speakers that claim 5.1-channel surround. The idea is that you get a cinema-like experience without having to run a full-blown speaker grid. In practice, the bundle works best when you have a dedicated media space. Think a living room that's at least 12 to 15 feet from the screen, a place you can mount the TV or set it on a sturdy stand, and enough room for the subwoofer to sit on the floor without being blocked. If you're the kind of person who watches a lot of movies, sports, or next-gen console games, the picture side is where you'll notice the biggest difference compared to a regular 4K LED. Mini LED gives you a higher peak brightness, which really shines through during HDR content. Those bright highlights in a sunrise or the burst of a fireworks display stay punchy, and the shadows stay truly dark. In a real-world test with a recent blockbuster streamed on a 4K HDR service, the TV handled the rapid changes in lighting without blooming or haloing, something that older edge-lit models sometimes struggle with. The upscaling engine also does a decent job of pulling out detail from 1080p sources, so if you still have a Blu-ray player or a game console that can't output native 4K, you won't feel like you're watching a lower-resolution picture. Now onto the audio. The BRAVIA theater system is a step up from the typical single-channel soundbar, mainly because of the 2 rear speakers and the dedicated subwoofer. The front bar itself is fairly slim, which is nice if you're concerned about aesthetics, and it supports Dolby Atmos in a virtual mode. In a living room of about 250 square feet, the subwoofer delivers a low end that you can actually feel during explosions or a deep bass line in a music track, without drowning out dialogue. The rear speakers, placed just behind the primary seating area, add a sense of directionality that makes a sports broadcast feel more immersive. You can actually hear the crowd from the side rather than just from the front. However, the system isn't a full-blown home theater setup. The rear speakers are small and don't have the power to fill a very large room, and the virtual Atmos can feel a little processed compared to a true overhead speaker array. One of the hidden trade-offs that shows up once you start using the bundle daily is the wiring and placement. The TV's HDMI ports are all on the back, which is standard, but the soundbar's subwoofer connects via a proprietary wireless link that can occasionally drop if there's a lot of Wi-Fi traffic nearby. In most homes I've seen, the subwoofer sits comfortably under the TV or against a wall, but you do need to keep it within a reasonable range of the sound bar, roughly 10 to 12 feet, to avoid occasional static. The rear speakers are wireless, but they still need a power outlet, so you'll want to plan where you'll plug them in. If you're a minimalist who wants a clean look with no visible cables, you'll probably need to run a few in-wall solutions or accept a small power strip nearby. Who should buy this bundle? The sweet spot is a household that already has a decent internet connection for streaming 4K HDR content and a willingness to dedicate a space to a true home theater vibe. If you're an avid streamer, a console gamer, or someone who hosts movie nights regularly, the combination of mini LED picture quality and 5.1 surround will feel worth the price tag. It's also a good fit for families with kids who love the immersive experience but don't want to install a full speaker system that requires professional calibration. On the other hand, if you live in a small apartment, have a tight budget, or primarily watch TV in a bright, sunlit kitchen, you might be better off with a standard 4K LED TV and a more basic sound bar. The extra brightness of